Hi, welcome back to McMorris Prosthetic Services. Today I'm going to talk about my story, how I ended up losing a leg, and how my career has gotten me to starting this channel, working with Allard USA, and all of the things that I'm involved in. So in 2013, I was 21. I had just turned 21 on October 15th, 2013. And I was building homes up in Park City. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was building cabins up on the Canyons Resort in Park City, and didn't really have a plan. Kind of thought like maybe I'll try to play football somewhere, or maybe I'll work construction forever, and this will be it. And was really just like going through the motions. And one day, October 30th, 2013, I got up to go to work, and it had rained the night before, and so here in Utah, late October, it was cold, and I ended up going up Parley's Canyon, the main canyon in Park City, behind my cousin. We didn't really plan it that way. We were just going to the same place, same time, and ended up going up behind each other. And about halfway up the canyon, there's the East Canyon exit, and it's an overpass. So the exit gets off and goes under the freeway, and the freeway is like the bridge is sitting still like a half an inch higher than the rest of the road. And I remember thinking, like, we were in the fast lane. I remember thinking, I'm going to move over to the middle lane because, like, that left lane bounces you quite a bit and it gets pretty sketchy. And so I moved over, and my cousin stayed in the left-hand lane. And he hit the bridge and lost control of his car and slammed into the guardrail on the left-hand side. And so I got out really thinking, like, he's just going to need a ride to work. We'll get his car towed. Uncle Mike doesn't have to come pick him up. Let's make it easy. And as I got out, I saw that both of his tires had popped off the front axle of his car. One had rolled to the other side of the road and was completely out of the way, and the other one was on our side of the highway in the shoulder. And so I went to move that before another car hit it and caused another accident. And while I was doing that, another car hit me and caused another accident and threw me 30 feet. And yeah, it was a fun day. When I got to the University of Utah Hospital, they said that I was awake and told them what happened and everything, and went into surgery. I don't really remember, obviously, getting there, but I ended up having cut on my eyebrow. I chipped my front tooth. I bit my tongue almost all the way off. I had a tear in my aorta that kills people in 10 to 12 minutes, and they didn't find that till I was at the hospital for 6 hours. I had a ruptured spleen, lacerated kidneys. I shattered my right thumb. I tore the LCL and the ACL in my left knee, and I broke the tibia there. And then my right leg was shattered and shredded. It was broken on my femur and my tibia. It was an open wound from my mid-thigh down to my ankle. And so we tried to save it for a couple weeks. Like I said, I just turned 21, and so my parents didn't want to amputate. They didn't want to make that decision because they didn't know what that life looked like. And so tried to save it for a few weeks, took the abs out of my stomach and down into my calf to try to rebuild some of my calf. And that ended up getting infected. And from there, I was able to make the decision to amputate. And I'm kind of just giving a quick rundown of this because I think I'm going to give like a long breakdown, maybe one day later. But that's how I ended up as an amputee, an above knee amputee on the right side. And then from there, I went through a lot of struggles that we'll get into, and had a lot of hurdles to jump over. But my career started in prosthetics in 2014, working for Freedom Innovations, which is now Proteer. And so they have a plant down in Gunnison, Utah, which is like 2 hours from Salt Lake City. And I drove down there 3 times, 4 times a week for a good 4 or 5 years, testing their plie knees and helping them with repairs, validating a concern when a knee came in. Yes, this is really what's wrong with it. Let's go fix it. And then once it was fixed, yeah, we actually fixed it. We can send it back to the user and the clinic. And so I got a lot of experience there on understanding kind of what's going on underneath me. Being able to feel in a knee if a seal is blown or a valve is not functioning is very difficult. And so it got me really good at being in tune with my devices and understanding how to pinpoint where an issue could be coming from, whether that's my knee, my foot, my socket, and then give feedback on that. And from there, I got a job at a place called Fit Prosthetics here in Salt Lake, which isn't around anymore, and they were kind of the first mobile company to start here in Utah. And so I worked for them for a good 7 years as a patient advocate and really learned a lot about kind of the patient care side of prosthetics, and how everyone is not the same, and how to kind of find ways to help motivate or to help problem solve, all of those things. I really learned a lot through working at Fit Prosthetics. And then from Fit Prosthetics, I went to what I call my residency. I worked for Liston Prosthetics for a year, which is, it's just kind of a small clinic here in Utah ran by Jim Liston, who, he brought Hanger here. Well, he had a clinic here, 20 years ago, and sold it to Hanger. Was the first company to sell to Hanger in Utah, to get Hanger clinics in Utah. And then once he was done there, he kind of did his sabbatical and everything, and then came back and opened back up as just kind of a smaller mom and pop clinic. And so for Jim, I was doing a lot of like prosthetist assistant things, and I was doing all of his fabrication work. And so I got to learn kind of the crash side of fab on that end, but also just learn from one of the best CPOs around ever, I think, and get a lot of different philosophy things. And like I said, I really look at that as kind of my residency. And so those are like my three kind of main jobs that I've had. But it's also, my first job was working at the National Ability Center and in Park City, and working with amputees to ride bikes or to climb or to wakeboard again. And so I did that for a little while, and I've been fortunate to work with the HGN lab in the University of Utah and Dr. Tommaso Lenzi on the Utah leg, or the bionic leg, or whatever the name that's like circulating right now is popular. But I've been able to work on that since 2017. I was the first one to walk on it, and I was just up there on Friday. I'll be up there again 2 times next week. I'm very lucky to be a part of that project, but I've also learned a lot being involved with that project, and learning from it and growing from it, and also helping it grow and helping it get better. And it's been pretty fun, and hopefully we're getting close. Hopefully we're getting close to having something that is a real world product. But not only consulting with the University of Utah, but I've consulted with Autobach a bunch, and Phil Hour, and Proteor, obviously. Like, I've done a lot of different things, and so I feel like the gap in the community is between the professional side of the community to where who's getting taken care of. And that doesn't mean that like the professional side doesn't care about who they're taking care of. They do, because prosthetists don't get paid anything. But I think the manufacturers on the top end could do a better job getting down to us, the users, and supporting us a little bit more, maybe educating us a little bit more. And so that's really, again, where this channel kind of was created, and hopefully we can do that and give a little bit more of that education on different things, and a little bit more support throughout the community, and provide for more quality events, better events, and do a lot of different things. So this MPS really is, it's McMorris Prosthetic Services, but it's really just like, it's here for the community, and I hope that the community benefits from it. And there's things I need to do to be creative and figure out how to get the community to benefit from it and buy into it. But that's the goal. So, the last channel was kind of quiet, and I didn't publicize it a lot. This one, share with your friends, share with your family. Like, there's going to be hopefully good things for everyone in here, whether you're an amputee or not, whether you know an amputee or not. Hopefully there's a lot of positive to come from this, and so I'm excited. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time.